Hey guys, it's your boy the Cynic, and today we'll be reviewing the NES Classic. Now, when it comes to packaging, it's very nice. It's very reminiscent of the original packaging. As you can see here, we have a couple of the games listed, like Mario, Zelda, and Pac-Man. There's 30 NES games on here, and all the games have an E10 plus rating. There's some golden text, and some text that says Nintendo Entertainment System. It's a retro blast from the past, with the return of the all-time fan-favorite Nintendo Entertainment System. This mini-sized NES Classic Edition system is packed with 30 pre-installed classic Nintendo Entertainment System games from the 80s, fully loaded and ready to play using the original NES-style controller. Play classic NES games the way they're meant to be played, on a full-sized original NES controller. Just plug it in and you're ready to go. Includes all of the original features, plus control pad for quick control and movement, A and B buttons for rapid fire action, and select and start for menu selection and pausing the game. Now we're going to turn over to the back of the box. Now as you can see, it says Retro Blast from the Past in this really cool text. You can also see a bunch of covers for games that are included on the console. Again, there's 30 of them, and there's a list of the games right there. There's also some screenshots of the games, there's a Donkey Kong sprite, and even some sprites of the crabs from Mario Bros. Also, on the top, it's red and there's this cool white controller. Now you just open this flap on the side, pour it out, and there's a ton of stuff inside. You get the console, the controller, the wall adapter for the charger, HDMI, and this awesome poster that's just like the one in the original NES Deluxe pack. This thing is really easy to set up. Just plug the charger into the adapter, plug that into the console, plug the HDMI into the console. It's upside down for some reason. Plug that into your TV, plug in a controller, turn on the NES, select your language, and you're all set. Now, just find a game and press start to start playing. When you're done playing, just go over to your NES and press the reset button. You'll go back to the menu. Now you see a screenshot of where you left off. Just press down, you go into this little menu, and you'll be able to save your game. Now thankfully this thing runs at 60 Hz, which is definitely optimal. Another thing is that this runs on an A22 processor and also runs on an emulator created by Nerd, which if you don't know is a European division of Nintendo. One of the interesting things about this console is that the ports actually are for the Wii Nunchuck, which means that you can use Wii Pro and Classic controllers on this thing, and if you plug in one of these NES controllers to a Wii controller or a Wii remote, you can actually use them to play NES Virtual Console games on the Wii and Wii U. From what I've played on this thing so far, the emulation is pristine. The colors, the sharpness of the pixels, the audio, it's perfect. It's just like playing on original NES, except with better speakers and a better screen. I would have thought that these games would have needed their instruction manuals, because these were made on the NES. They couldn't have extravagant stories right in the game. But strangely enough, they really didn't. Only the first two Zelda games really needed the manual. But I would recommend reading Metroid's instruction manual. It's a really interesting read. The console includes Balloon Fight, Bubble Bobble, the first two Castlevania games, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon 2, Dr. Mario, Excite Bike, Final Fantasy, Galaga, Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, Ice Climber, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, Mario Bros, Mega Man 2, Metroid, Ninja Gaiden, Pac-Man, not to be confused with the Tengen release, Punch-Out. Sadly, this isn't the Mike Tyson release, this is the release that had Mr. Dream, Star Tropics, Super Contra, the first three Super Mario Bros. Games, Tecmo Bowl, and the first two Zelda games. There are a few things I would change about the game library. I would replace Mega Man 2 and Tecmo Bowl with Castlevania 3 and the NES port of SimCity. Now, firstly, I would remove Mega Man 2. I know it's a bit of a controversial opinion, but I do know that Mega Man 2 is a very important part of the NES library. And don't get me wrong, it's an amazing game, but you can already get it on the Mega Man Legacy Collection on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. So I don't really see the point of having it on there. Another thing, Tecmo Bowl. Ew, sports game, get that out of my face. First of all, Castlevania 3. Come on, we gotta have the entire Castlevania trilogy on NES. And plus, the third one was probably the best, with its character switching mechanic. Second of all, I would add the SimCity port to NES. I know that the Lost ROM was only found very recently, and the NES Classic was released in 2016, but I'm sure Nintendo had the ROM hidden somewhere in their offices. If they just spruced it up a bit and added all of the extra sprites, it would have been perfect to add on here. Look at the SNES, it added Star Fox too. So what do I think of the NES Classic overall? Well, the emulation is absolutely pristine and the game selection is almost perfect. It's a very loving tribute to the original games on the NES. Plus the box looks really cool. Extra points for that, am I right? Overall, I give the NES Classic a 9 out of 10.